Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
Welcome back, Candy Killers, to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast and the premiere of our new Silver Scream series, motherfuckers, where we will focus on the classic sci-fi horror and monster movies that fucking hit the silver screen back in the day. So today, we're going to start this fucking series off with I'm going to let the fucking cat out of the bag. One of my favorite movies of all time, Merian C. Cooper's 1933 monster flick, King Kong. Finally, I've been trying to do this fucking thing a whole bunch, and it's never worked out. But today,
whole bunch.
Not
more than lots, but not as much as tons.
Yes, just a whole bunch, many times over. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us again. With us, as always, is Oubliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb.
I got stuck here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Always. You're just always here.
He doesn't let me leave. It's
never.
I've been in this room for like a year and a half now.
Myself, Screaming E from the Memphis Murder Men. And our man's back again, Money Mills. Because we had to have my man back. Because
so you can't do King Kong without the real King Kong. You know,
oh shit, King Kong ain't got nothing on him, motherfuckers.
Nada. Plus, I figure, as much as y'all are paying me, how can I turn it down? It's crazy.
That's right. You be paying motherfuckers
so much money.
All the monies.
We're like really, really rich.
Yeah.
I got my nails done yesterday in 2 different colors.
Oh shit. My power got turned back on today.
We fancy.
Oh shit. Yeah, but before we get into that movie, it's time to talk a little bit about some horror news.
Oh yeah, what we got here? Wow.
It's 1933 horror news, everybody.
We're pulling in with some horror news, guys.
Who wants to start off with some horror news?
I will.
Yeah.
So I've got 2.
Okay.
Even though there's been a lot, it seems like lately. One is there's a new Hellboy. First it was speculation, now it's actually confirmed. The Crooked Man. They obviously have not said who the actor is going to be. I would love if Ron Perlman came back, but
dude, can I just say that I always
this is an ass chapping thing. He's using his hand in a way that I can tell. Oh
no,
okay.
But I always thought up until like 6 months ago that Ron Perlman was fucking Thanos.
What?
That's Josh Brolin, isn't it?
Yes, but he looks like Ron Perlman.
No.
And then they kind of sound alike. And then I was talking to my buddy. He's like, Josh Brolin. I'm like, wait, what? No, that's Ron Perlman.
No.
And then I IMDb'd. I was like, son of a bitch. That is Josh Brolin.
No, Josh Brolin has a very nice chin, but is slightly more narrow, even in the Thanos makeup, than Ron Perlman's would be.
Yeah, but I mean, he still looked like
I noticed these
giant
kinds
tiki
of
head. And I was like, what the fuck? But yeah. So anyway, Ron Perlman, Hellboy.
Fucking Thanos looks like he was delivered as a baby, and they grabbed the forceps by his chin instead of like the top of his dome piece. So he's got all them forceps wrinkles. Ridiculous.
But anyway, sorry. Go dudes.
Well, I'm happy because I really like all the Bureau of Paranormal Investigation, whatever comics.
Mhm.
And I read The Crooked Man, or that series. They're basing it off of like a long time ago, and now I'm not going to revisit it because I want to wait to see the movie. But I remember it being one of the ones I really liked when I first got into it. So I hope they do it well.
What'd you think about the last Hellboy with David Harbour?
So I was talking to Christian, my husband, about this today. Like, so I put it on and didn't finish it. I watched half of it and was kind of like, And then he expressed interest in it, and I was like, all right, I'll give it another chance for you. And he said that even then I fell asleep 3/4 of the way through. And I think I tried to revisit it a third time, but honestly, I don't remember anything except for like maybe some bad hell CGI or something. Like, I don't think I could tell you one thing about the movie, so I can't tell you definitively if I hated it or not, but I don't remember and didn't make it through, so just take that as that.
I didn't watch it. I didn't bother him. Ron Perlman is Hellboy to me, so
Yeah, that was real bad.
I got excited when I heard it was R-rated because I felt like it,
that's how they
Hellboy
always get you.
should
Yeah.
be that way. And then, yeah.
Well, I mean, David Harbour is a good actor. If you're gonna replace him with somebody, like, okay, well, I mean, maybe we'll see. It didn't
He's a
have
good
me
pick.
screaming from my Monday quarterback fucking seat. But then they put it on. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I just remember it being like real, like it didn't have a good flow. Like it
Nah.
didn't. Like I like the other Hellboys because the team kind of had some, like, they felt good together. They were cohesive, even though they weren't
Good
getting
chemistry.
along. Like,
Yeah,
and almost like that
Plus, they were
team
fun.
camaraderie feeling.
Yeah,
you
the
know? Like
movies
you wanted
were
to be a
actually
part of their
fun.
group, just like the comics. And
Yeah.
that last one, I remember thinking like, this is just like a whole bunch of like everybody just doing what they want. There's no team there. It just didn't seem
Man,
like
he was
part of the
such an
franchise.
insufferable cunt. He was just
Yeah.
From
Which,
the
I mean,
trailer,
that character was kind of like a Wolverine kind of asshole type,
Yeah,
but like
sure.
Right.
but every like good leading asshole has to be likable enough in that
Right.
way, and I felt like it wasn't.
exactly.
I just saw the trailer and I was like, man, this doesn't seem like it's gonna go over well. Like, I thought he looked, if Hellboy started off with him as Hellboy and that design and makeup, it'd be one thing, but it just looked weird to me. So I wasn't super into the design.
It looked a lot more animated than the other
Right.
ones.
Yeah. So
But even like the Hellboy animated movies that they had put out were perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were very much like the comics and really good.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping this one will bring back the fun.
That's a pro bono review. See, we snuck it in there on you.
Yeah, we did. So my other one was Bloody Disgusting. I think because I've been searching places I want to go where we're playing in a couple of days. So on my Facebook feed, a Bloody Disgusting article came up about
or by the time this comes out, places you went.
True.
Yeah.
It came up with a Bloody Disgusting write-up about a horror coffee shop in Northern Hollywood called Horror Vibes. And it is like 2 blocks from where we're playing. And there are 2 tea drinks on there with my name on them. So I will be visiting. And maybe I'll take some pictures and maybe it'll end up on the Instagram. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you should.
It could be wild. I don't know. But I'm very excited about drinking some themed
Oh shit, when?
non-coffee drinks.
What date are you guys going to be there?
Friday.
This Friday, so that's the 24th, 25th?
24th.
24th. Dude.
I use my fingers.
It may still be there. But there's an H.R. Geiger exhibit.
Oh,
what? Where?
Yeah. in Hollywood, I believe.
Oh, I'll totally go. We have like our first three shows are all in SoCal, so we like have a lot of time in between them.
Right. Yeah, I think it's there. I think it was there until the 26th of February. So,
I will look that up right now.
yeah, it's kind of hard to find. I don't know, like where it's at. 'Cause I was like Googling. I was like, where the fuck is it? Like a whole bunch of exhibits in like Europe and New York were coming up. I'm like, that's not what I want.
Well, I'm
But
just gonna type in H.R. Geiger, Los Angeles.
I tried
first
that
link.
too. Yeah.
First link.
Yeah, first one. Alone in the Night till
Yeah.
the 26th.
There you go. See,
I think E's just not great with the Googs.
I'm telling you. I was doing HR Giger down in LA and it would just bring me up with like all this old shit. And I'm like, no, new. I want new. But yeah, check that out. I wanted to try and get down there to see it, but things don't always work out. So maybe I could live vicariously through Oubliette.
Well, do you have to work Friday? You could drive down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'll be gone like the week after. So
Oh, yeah, that's
when
right.
this is out.
Best.
Yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, check that out. And if anyone else checked it out, tell us how it was.
Why does the link say that they made the decision to postpone it till 2023? That is now.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all fucked up.
Dumb.
Because
I'll
yeah,
figure it out.
they made like a big announcement at Monsterpalooza. It's like if you're whatever, it's going to be running till February
Well,
26th.
Ticketmaster is selling tickets.
Yeah, see, it's all fucked up.
Hey, you can put your
I feel a
faith
little
in
weird about
Ticketmaster.
doing that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds great, Mills. We'll just do that. I will just do that. All right, who else has news?
Well, I just want to keep y'all up to date. That amazing movie that I talked about
Yes.
before, Kill Her Goats, even though it was filmed like 4 years ago, still not released yet. I'm just saying.
Uh-oh.
Supposed to be released this year. Allegedly, maybe March 1st. So maybe next time that your boy hollers at you, I'll let you know that it's out and about. Otherwise, we'll have to wait even fucking longer to see how we kill her goats. So
Hollywood needs to get its shit together.
Yeah, seriously. They're just leaving you hanging. It's not
For real.
cool.
bullshit. You can't you can't keep adding numbers of Playboy Playmates that you have put in this movie every time I check your website and then not announce a release date. I'm just saying,
I agree.
That's not how to build trust, guys.
It's true.
Because if there's one thing you can trust, it's a Playboy Playmate.
I mean, they kept secrets for a long ass time.
Yeah.
That might be true. I think as long as you have an NDA,
You're right.
you can definitely trust a Playboy Playmate.
I don't know. They don't build them like they used to.
Oh, well, I don't know, because when we talk about the movie we're about to talk about, apparently how they used to wasn't really good enough either.
Yeah. I got one thing, and it's kind of up my alley, but we'll see. So there is a Netflix series, an adult animated Netflix series. It's going to be called Agent Elvis.
Is it horror?
I mean, yeah. It's kind of described as that. It's Elvis Presley trades in his jumpsuit for a jetpack when he is covertly inducted into a secret government spy program to battle the dark forces that threaten the country he loves, all while holding down his day job as the king of rock and roll. Now, me being an Elvis fan, this could go one to two ways. Really good or really bad. Like, I don't think there's going to be any in between. But I don't know. I think the best animated version of any sort of Elvis impersonator was always Johnny Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I hope it's kind of like that.
Who was that cartoon made for? You know what I mean? Like, the fuck?
Kids in the 90s?
It's very niche.
I don't know. Close enough to like, it's the 90s, so like the big rockabilly explosion part
Jesus.
2 was going on.
Yeah, and the children were so into that.
Yeah. Oh, hey man. So yeah, that might be cool. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's the only thing I got for horror news. Anyone else?
Cool.
That's it.
Oh. All right. Well, that's been horror news. All right. All right. We were finally going to talk about a movie that I love, but also that has my ass getting chapped for the people that like to talk about it. And before we even get into like what we like, what we didn't. All right, guys, everyone listening out there, open your fucking ear holes. This movie is not an analogy, regardless of what fucking Quentin Tarantino and what's her nuts? Hold on. She's always on Shudder. Hannah Reeve do, who's a film scholar and everything. This movie is not any sort of analogy for racism. It's not. Like literally, it's not. Now there might be some questionable things in it, but it's
I was going to
1933.
say there's, yeah.
Like, that's it, but it has nothing to do with it. In fact, throughout the whole movie, like from the start to the finish, they mention what the story is. It's a fucking Beauty and the Beast story, which it didn't even start out that way. Let me tell you, motherfuckers, how the story came, how Merian C. Cooper thought of this fucking story before we even. I have so many notes on this fucking thing. This podcast is probably gonna get annoying.
Uh-oh.
So, all right, Merian C. Cooper was a fucking crazy, interesting individual. Like he was a pilot, went on all these fucking excursions and safaris, grew up like just mesmerized by safaris. It's in particular apes. He loved like wild animals and the animals of Africa, but in particular, he loved apes in the Congo because he got a book one time when he was real young, and it was about
racist.
Yeah, because he was racist. He's like, I love my apes, but no.
I mean, weren't they all back then though?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. He also did missionary work, like went to all these different countries and like helped people out. So I don't think he was.
I mean, missionaries were still racist. I'm just saying.
Well, I honestly, in 1933, I think everybody of every race was racist.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But he was.
But that was always just life. So was it actually racist or just life? I don't know.
He was always obsessed with these fucking gorillas because there's these stories from the Congo where these fucking big giant apes would come into this one village and steal women in the middle of the night, which to me just sounds like some motherfuckers were trying to get rid of their women. Or like, I don't know, the fucking gorillas came in and took my chick. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Did you watch the movie Congo?
I did.
It was based on a true story, so that's true.
Right.
Was it? It was a Hollywood movie based on a true man.
So anyway,
it was basically a documentary.
Right.
My dad told me so.
Well, I mean, hey, this is what the villagers of in the Congo were saying. So who knows? But anyway, so he's like, man, all right, I want to make this fucking film about. First, it was going to start off as like a group of gorillas, and then he also was introduced to that's like back in the day when they first discovered like Komodo dragons. And they were like, holy shit, these fucking like 250-pound, 10-foot long giant lizards. And he was like, oh shit, it'd be super fucking rad to make this movie about these giant apes, but then got kind of like scaled down to just one ape. And he'd be on this island where everything grows giant and fight these giant fucking lizards. And that was the inception of King Kong. It was just it was a monster movie. It was like the first fucking monster movie. And then Eli Roth's history of horror, like, I love it. It's cool and entertaining, but dude, every motherfucker in there try and find some racism in the movie. So they're saying, oh yeah, Kong climbing up the fucking Empire State Building and Fay Ray and all that. It's obviously a metaphor for everyone being afraid of black people and black men
What?
wanting white women. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, that's what King Kong is about?
Apparently.
He
100%,
honestly, he probably has a giant dick.
I 100.
Other than that, I don't really get the.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
but anyway, and that even that Merian C. Cooper came out of a meeting and in New York and just happened to look up at the fucking Empire State Building and was like, you know what? Story about the gorillas coming in and stealing the women. Like, it'd be cool to have my giant gorilla climb up the fucking Empire State Building, like holding a woman. Like, that'd be cool. And then what's her name? Ruth Rose, like pretty rewrote, like had the final draft of the script and everything. But yeah,
was that a white woman?
I'm pretty sure. So she might be racist.
You're telling me that seeing a powerful black man, rippling muscles maybe might have not inspired some edits, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? I mean, it might not have started that way, but subconsciously in the back of her mind, she might want to be just grabbed by one of these apes, which is what they used to call
hey,
them.
Don't we all?
Hey,
don't we all?
You might be able to call me that now.
Dude, and another thing. Okay, 1933, right? This probably had like the biggest cast of black people I've ever seen in a movie from the fucking 30s.
Did they pay them?
I mean, yeah, yeah, but they're probably not, as much as some other people. Okay. But I mean, Noble Johnson, the chief, who was already like, a well-known actor and was in other movies.
So here's some pushback though. Like, what about the Ngaji correlation that people talk about, right? You know what I'm talking about? That old found film fake ass documentary that came out a couple years before they made King Kong, like 31 or whatever. And it's got like the fake safari and they go through there and they find these apes and it's like more than lightly suggested that the apes are fucking women and like the African women and having these babies that are the baby, it almost didn't look human and all this stuff.
I mean, like I said,
also like the biggest blockbuster to that point. Like, so it was proven that ape fuckers sell money, makes money.
Yeah, but I mean, Merian C. Cooper was into fucking gorillas and shit for way before that was even a thing and wanted to make that movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who doesn't want to get fucked by an ape is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying you can cross streams. I mean,
you totally can. but yeah, it's like, again, just reference throughout the whole movie is Beauty and the Beast, Beauty and the Beast, Beauty and the Beast.
Sure. And annoyingly so.
Annoyingly so, like all the time. And
no, 'twas beauty killed the beast. Okay, right? Yeah, but you said that 4 times up until this point. Like it would have been a dope line to drop at the end, but I didn't need you to sprinkle it throughout the whole fucking movie.
They definitely reference it, and then he wanted to have that last time where they're like, he wrote that line, hey, we got Venom. The planes got him. And he's like, no, the planes didn't get him. It was beauty killed the beast.
I mean, I will say this is one of the saddest movies I think you will ever see.
Oh, 1,000%.
And it definitely reminds me of a lot of the old. This is like another Bambi or Dumbo,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Also, like that's the thing too, is like I'm so not a fan of like just canceling shit because it was made in a time that it is non-compatible with our current standards. Like that's the stupidest shit ever. Right. You know what I mean? Like you can look at like the descriptions of women, like their lead female is like so dumb you could probably hear her blink. You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing. This whole movie is like.
I thought she was cute.
Fay Ray was awesome, but this whole movie, every character,
but
every character in it is a parody of like what a person would be. Like you got the fucking
the sailor, the director,
all of them. Yeah. they're all parodies. Fay Ray's like the dumb, oh, I'm a woman, you know. Oh,
Well,
and
it's really kind of like this is early storytelling, so it's not like there was a standard of realism that they were trying to express. They were trying to express fantastical things.
right. Everything was fucking cranked up, you know. And dude, even like the dialogue's hilarious. I saw this in the movie, like in the movie theater with Holtzfeuer and Enzo from Arno Core. And dude, there was a lot of uncomfortable laughter, except for us because we're like cracking up, like, you know. So Driscoll, the sailor guy, right? Fay Ray's love interest, you know, and he's all like, women just can't help being a bother. Made that way, I guess. You know, like shit like that is just like, it's so fucking ridiculous. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Back in that day, there was a lot of that shit.
Right, but we're also talking about a time period in American cinema where they're still doing the mid-Atlantean accent that they made up,
right?
So they could seem larger than life in their story. You know what I mean? And damn it, aren't they so cute for thinking that? You know what I mean? Because when film and cinema are so new, and I mean, like, you know, 100 years is still new. We're just getting to the point where we're starting to get comfortable with the medium, I feel.
Right.
Because now, like, what we're expecting is like actual mirror image expression. Like, if you look at like children actors nowadays, like, there's some that are so good, you know, and we've had such examples of quality like that now when you have a crappy kid actor, which you probably should be a crappy kid actor, you know?
Well, yeah,
we're like, what
dude,
the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's fucking creepy.
Yeah, no,
it's a little too perfect, and you're like,
yeah, like, who hurt
supposed
you?
to be that good?
Like, why are you so? Who hurt you? Why are you so connected to your feelings like that?
Whatever producers on that fucking movie, that's who hurt.
Yeah,
right, dude. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know. Like, I'm into everything about this movie, and even okay, back to the whole fucking, like you were saying, putting like today's standards on whatever. A lot of people
so dumb
will also point to like the ship's cook Charlie, right? Chinese guy. All right. Can I just say, in 1933, there probably wasn't a lot of white people that have ever encountered any sort of Asian man. And I mean, dude, we're barely 100 years removed.
Stands out so much to me.
Right. Like barely removed.
I know.
100 years removed from fucking railroads.
Yeah.
So like,
true.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he was also a parody. And he was the one that fucking kind of saved Andero, because he was like, because the fucking other the like, white guy who was supposed to be up watching fell asleep, and he's the one that found the necklace, was like, oh shit, hey everyone, fucking, you know. And it's just,
and that part was so weird too, because they're like talking on the bow and getting all kind of whatever, and then he just doesn't notice she's gone.
Yeah
But I mean, as far as like an old movie being kind of a difficult, like a labor of love, it's kind of a difficult watch. Those are the little things that, I mean, that I look at in that kind of light. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's kind of like eye-opening, because people's understanding and comfort of just other cultures at that time was so low. Like, when you look at,
dude, totally,
like the tribes people and the fake ass language they're speaking, I'm like, this is like so pathetic of an attempt, you know, like, oh, we're just gonna have and they're like, oh yeah, that's totally what foreign people sound like.
The funny part about that is the language they were supposed to be speaking, I think, was from an island somewhere near Asia.
Yeah.
So like wasn't even close to whatever language they would be speaking, but they just picked it. And
but I mean, like, going back to that larger than life theme, which is, you know, funny because this is like the first larger than life movie or whatever, you know, just a foreign culture is larger than life, you know.
Dude, totally.
At that time.
But Nils, darling. No.
Yes. Yeah. You know, so
I have no idea what you're talking about.
They were showing all these things that at the time were larger than life, but like when we look back and we look at them, you know, we're like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Well, dude, that's another thing which is crazy for that time. So they get to the island. We're gonna be jumping around here, folks, but they get to the island and the parallels between the chief and the tribe and Denham and his crew. Like the chief is like, holy shit, who's this golden lady? We want that. Whereas Denham's like, hey, we want this giant ape you have on your fucking island. And it's like they're mirrors of each other. And it's like, yeah, everyone's fucking stupid. And like when you see something you don't see all the time.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Which is another funny line because they're like, they want Anne. They're calling her the golden woman or whatever. And he was like, yeah, blondes are probably scarce around here.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I would like to just pause and take a moment to point out that, these people lived in actual Jurassic Park, complete with the Jurassic Park gate,
right.
And all it took was white people to come and the dinos got out. That's all I'm saying,
Fucking shit up. Fucking shit up.
Yeah, and apparently dinosaurs that are not carnivores are fully into just attacking people.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
And not even omnivores, like full on herbivores are like, I'm gonna fucking kill you people.
All right. Can we talk about how fucking gory and murderous this movie is?
Oh, it's glorious.
It's
apparently there was like a more gory cut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, but it's apparently like lost to fucking history, which is stupid.
Yeah, there's I don't know which versions are out there. The one I have has like all this cool fucking commentary and clips of Merian C. Cooper talking about shit.
Right.
And it has Ray Harryhausen actually doing commentary on it, which he's a protege of Willis H. O'Brien, who did the stop motion, which was groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah.
But this one, I mean, shows him like eating people, fucking smashing them in the ground when he walks on them, like
right,
all that stuff. But dude, like as soon as they get onto the island and they go out and try and find her, the dinosaurs, like the Stegosaurus, dude, he fucking shoots him in the eye, and there's just blood.
Yeah.
And then all the guys, like Juliet was saying, the brontosaurus in the fucking river, like just chomping on dudes and killing them.
Yeah.
There was a lot of animal abuse in this movie. I'm just saying.
Dude,
I don't know who was overseeing this production, but I don't know.
That's before claymation had unions,
Yeah. the
Wait, what?
The claymation animal union of fucking 1934 is a direct result of this
King Kong
egregious overstep.
I agree.
So the best scene, the fight with the T-Rex, well, Allosaurus technically, but dude, that had like legit choreography.
Yeah, it took him fucking forever.
No, but I mean like just him fighting, like those are legit moves. Like he fucking single legs them, spins him around, puts his shoulder into him, and then drives him to the ground. Like that's a legit grappling move,
right?
And dude,
apes do it all the time. It's great.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, dude, just all these fucking people dying, and then towards the end, when he's climbing up the building looking for Fay Ray, and he reaches in and grabs the woman who isn't Fay Ray, and he just looks at her like, "Oh, that's not her," and just drops her. Oh, I fucking love it. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of all the old like claymations. Like that's just a style of cinema that impresses the fuck out of me.
For real,
with all these practical effects that they were able to accomplish,
and the sound effects too.
Yeah,
that's true too.
Like Kong was like a lion's roar, a tiger's roar, backwards with something else backwards. It was like ridiculous when you read what they put together to make his sound. Like I love that shit. I mean, when you used to see the documentaries of them like, beating on random stuff.
Right.
That shit's cool.
There's a fucking word for that job that's I can never remember it, but I'm always like, what is? Oh yeah, that's the
No, there
people who make
is.
sounds for whatever.
Disney had a really cool documentary, I think from the 60s or 50s,
Yeah,
that just followed like one of their like group of their people through all their cartoons, and it was cool as shit.
yeah, it actually is. Like, what kind of nerd are you that you're like,
I would
oh, this is
like
what I
that.
want to do? I mean, it's cool.
I
It's
would
cool as
like that
fuck.
job if it still exists and anyone is hiring. I would sit in a room and make weird noises all day.
I do that involuntarily.
Well, like Oubliette was saying, like there was so much shit that they were doing and coming up with. Like this movie really was groundbreaking. Even just like with the shit, like the rear projection, which they used a lot with the matte painting backgrounds, splicing in actual people from
They projected like
claymation.
big and small,
Yeah.
which is fucking cool.
Yep. Yeah. And it's great. Like Marcel Delgado he did the models. He built the models, and then Willis H. O'Brien did all the stop motion and shit. But they were saying something on the commentary, kind of joking about how his fur would move because they would, every frame they're grabbing him and they're messing his hair up. They tried not to, but I'm like, dude, that totally looks like. I just always thought it was wind. Like it kind of gave it like a little realistic thing to it. I don't know, man. I fucking love this movie. Can't if anyone can't tell, I'm like, King Kong.
I mean, I feel like the world in general appreciates what King Kong had to offer because, that whole like kaiju big monster shit that Japan like really kind of took to the next level. I mean, it has its roots in King Kong, everything does. I mean,
Dude, I hope
they've
so.
remade it how many times? Three times. I'm sure they're about to do it again.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean,
Funny enough, so like I don't think I've found out like when I went to watch this that I don't think I'd ever seen the original. I think like the first one that I had seen when I was younger was like the 60s 70s remake. Because when I put this one on, I was like, wait, what's happening? What's going on? And then it started playing. I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I've seen this one. And it blew my fucking mind that I hadn't seen it.
well, this is one of those things where it's like there's so much material of it just everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you grew up watching monster movies and horror movies and, Fangoria and Famous Monsters and all that shit, or just being into this stuff, like you feel like you've seen it because you've seen a bazillion images of it. You're like, oh yeah.
Right. You know the beats regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think Peter Jackson probably did the best remake, but even there's some issues with that. Like the meme we posted about remaking horror movies and then changing the plot. Like he adds an Adrian Brody, who's his fucking writer. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking up a whole good story. Like, but aside from that, I think it's probably the best. But yeah, fucking King Kong rules. I could talk about this movie all day, every day. All day, every day.
I would like to mention that I 100% disagree with you. I do believe that there are hard euphemisms in effect. I think that's part of the allure of the King Kong story. And maybe it was unintentional, but as you watch this movie and you see this big powerful beast, fall in love and be enamored and sweep this fair-haired light white woman off her feet. You see that theme, whether it was originated in King Kong intentionally or unintentionally, or it's just something that's subconscious in our society, period. Those themes track, bro.
Oh, no doubt. But intent does matter. So when you look at the history of Merian C. Cooper, he's very specific on what kind of movie he wanted to make and why he made it the way he did. And all the stuff that was happening to Ann Darrow was also happening in the lore of the tribes and in the movie to people that all look the same. So, plus initially he wanted to go to Africa, to film this, and actually like film like apes and splice them in with
Right.
Komodo dragons and shit like that.
Right.
Oh
But
God.
no studio was, and it was like during the Depression, so all the
I'd
studios
say
were
that's
like,
a
Right.
insurance nightmare.
we're like, nah, we're not going to give you the money to do that. He's like, fine, I'll just do it on the fucking back lot.
Yeah.
And like a lot of that shit was like afterthoughts. And another thing he mentions is like, Hollywood, they like love interests and they like a love story. So he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll put a chick in there. Kind of like in the actual movie, he's like, Hollywood, they want a fucking woman, so I got to go find a woman. Which a funny thing is, I didn't know that Fay Wray was actually a brunette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was so easy to kidnap a woman in the 30s. Like, I'd have been a whole problem.
Yeah, right.
I
He didn't
mean,
kidnap her. He
what do you
told her,
mean?
He told her what was up.
sweetheart, why don't you come with
Epstein's
me?
Island? It's not hard now.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Look
People are
here,
being
sweetheart,
trafficked
I've got
all
a great
the
proposition
time.
for you.
There are plenty of women no one cares about, and men, and they can disappear. It's not that I do that. I'm just saying, it isn't hard.
But Oubliette has seen a place where that does happen or did happen at.
Yeah, that was my 40th birthday.
Yeah.
We were over at Epstein's Island.
Escape from Epstein's Island. Why is that not a horror movie being made? That's all I'm saying. Why is that not
I mean, I'm sure there's some porns.
Yeah. I'm sure there's material out there.
I'm sure there's some smut films somewhere.
Yep. Yeah.
Buried deep below that temple on the island. Somewhere where their pods are that are going to shoot out to take them to Xenu or whatever.
Yeah.
They've got they're going to bring all their snuff films with them.
Yeah. I mean,
you got to bring some offerings,
Strong possibility.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was tripped out. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, he was like, I wanted a woman to play Anne, and I wanted a blonde woman. They brought me Fay Wray, and she was a brunette. And he said, no, I want a blonde. So they just put a blonde wig on her. And he's like, all right, well, there you go. So good for her. Oh man.
Yeah, good for her for putting on a wig.
Right?
I mean, that's very capable for a woman.
Well, I'm saying like,
and she seemed believable as a blonde
so
too. I mean,
totally
it's crazy.
So brave.
It's so hard to play off a different.
She didn't get an Oscar for that posthumously
crazy.
Because I don't think they had the Academy back then.
Hey, I'm just saying that could have went a whole bunch of different ways, and they plopped a fucking blonde wig on her and made her a goddamn horror movie legend, which is also crazy because they were also filming another movie that her and I think someone else was in at the same time. So they'd film that movie in the fucking daytime or like whatever, and then come right over and film fucking King Kong.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
this to me is like one of my favorite kind of movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. I think that if I could combine 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with this movie, just because I really like the Whale of a Tale song and his cute little tushy while he's playing the ukulele.
20,000 Leagues is like legit one of my favorite movies of all time.
No, same. So if I could, I've been trying to convince Tsunami Bomb to cover Whale of a Tale since I was 15 years old. Actually, when Charlie and I were just at Disney World, we like stumbled on the only place at Disney World that's open till 3 a.m, and it's called Jelly Rolls.
Yeah, that's where all the depressed parents go get schnockered.
Right. Yeah, we post all those videos. It's a dueling piano bar. But there was one dude when we were walking in, the piano player was playing Dropkick Murphys. And I was like, that's the one I'm going to request songs to.
Right.
So I requested Whale of a Tale. He went on break and didn't see it. There was 8 piano players. None of them knew it. They like went in the back room to get this guy. And he came out and he's like, I gotcha. And he played it. Nobody in that fucking place knew what it was, and we were at Disney.
Yeah.
It's a fucking travesty. So if you're listening to this right now, whoever the fuck you are, and you've never watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, watch it. And Whale of a Tale is a good fucking song.
Wouldn't it be better ska, though? Is all I'm saying? A ska version?
Yeah.
Think about it. Yeah, sure, we could do it. But it's so good how it is. All right, let's talk about King Kong. But if these two movies could merge, if there was just like, or if they like showed the captain's butt a little more, I'd be into it. I'm just saying, there's not enough. There's not enough. I mean, there's plenty of eye candy, but not, a little tushy.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, Kong is kind of fine. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, he is. But I mean, back then, the way their pants fit made their ass look really nice. They could just show more of that.
I just thought it was because people weren't fat slobs back then.
Yeah.
That too.
That could
Great
be it.
Depression,
That too.
If
They're
I've
they're
learned
eating lots of potatoes and beans
Yeah.
and nothing else.
if I've learned anything from doing this podcast with Oubliette, she does love a good tushy and some nice tight pants.
Not necessarily tight, but like the slacks back then, they're a little
Well, I mean,
high-waisted,
tight
but a
enough for
nice
you to
butt.
see the cheeks.
Yeah.
I would go out on a limb to say that it's probably not an uncommon favorite of the fairer sex.
Yeah.
Just
Maybe.
we act like they're they're all fucking prudes.
God
What?
damn it, Mills, they're supposed to be better than we are.
All you want is like me to be
Ass.
hot.
You just want hot beefcakes and tight pants with giant dicks.
No, like I don't even care about the dicks.
Right?
I mean, I don't want them to be weird. But I don't want to see them in movies. I'm fine without seeing them.
I
But
want
look.
I want back cheeks and front cheeks all in tight pants.
And-
Make it real weird.
Personality, striped shirts, and ukuleles. It's very specific. I didn't think I was a Kirk Douglas kind of girl, but like when he does his little booty shake while he's singing that song, I was like, huh.
And possibly a giant squid.
Add that to my weird list.
But I will say, the Sea-Man, not Seaman thing, it is definitely a thing. And my husband's noticed, like, he'll try on different sweaters, and I'm like, yeah, if you were like smoking a pipe and had like a sailor's hat, and he's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, just get the sweater. Just go home, get the sweater. It's great. It's that nautical, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm a man of the sea thing.
The allure of the sea.
It's hot.
I can't relate.
But the sad part is probably a lot of them are like, back then were like virgins. Or it only banged prostitutes.
Okay, that's not even close to a virgin.
I mean, like way back then, probably a lot of them were virgins and they were just like working. Or maybe they were banging each other.
I would dare to say a lot of them were not.
Yeah,
we're going port to port like we do nowadays.
Yeah.
They do nowadays. Allegedly. Ridiculous.
Indeed. Just like this movie is ridiculous, but it's fucking ridiculous in the best fucking way ever.
I think so. Like if you can't appreciate claymation, the old school claymation, then you got no business even trying to watch this movie because you're not going to get it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Kong and the dinosaurs were metal and rubber,
right?
You know, which is crazy.
But it does take a special person. Not everybody likes claymation, the old claymation stuff. Not everybody likes the mid-Atlantean accent. Like, what the fuck are they doing? You know what I mean?
Come on, do it. Do it.
I did it before. It's hard to be on the spot. I can't do it now.
I walked out of my room past 5 p.m. I am so sorry, but I was parched. I just got water and went back. I swear, a woman shouldn't be on the brig. I
know. Another fun fact, everybody, is Merian C. Cooper was actually one of the pilots at the end, actually flying the plane. Like a lot of that stuff was
killing Kong. God.
Well, I feel like if you don't drop a sick cameo to like what are you really doing? You know, this might be your one and only.
Hey. Oh. All right. Fucking King Kong. Does anyone have anything else to say about how awesome this movie is?
It was really good.
Good.
I mean, yes. I mean, it's a fabulous movie. It's just,
Yeah.
it's tops. It's the tops, guys. Loved
Anytime
it.
you think about a movie, you're
Loved
going to
it.
think about King Kong. They're going to go
Yeah,
down and
see?
they're going to talk about King Kong, and it's
Oh,
going to be the greatest.
yeah.
That's my
We got
mid-Atlantean
King
Trump.
Kong. Yeah.
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 You're the eighth wonder of the world, King Kong.
I love how like that got branded so hard that like now you got to talk about like the ninth wonder, like now
Right.
ninth wonder, because obviously the eighth is King Kong, even though it is just a movie.
I don't know the amount of work they fucking put into this movie and
Oh,
all
yeah.
the sculptures and just the fucking ingenuity and the creativeness. This is like an eighth wonder for real.
Oh yeah,
It-
I totally love the special effects and the
Yeah.
practical effects, and like when you talk about how they do these mixed scenes in camera.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
like I get what they're saying, but also how? Like, show me how you do that in camera, because now we're fucking lazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like you tape over half of this film and then like you remove the tape and you tape over that? Like, what does in camera mean? Like, now I'm curious. I'm gonna go on an internet rabbit hole.
Probably that's probably what they meant, because in some scenes you can actually see them
Right, kind of
like
like
see the cut.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
see the little claymation guys run like behind a tree, and then
Yeah.
there'll be like a little jump, and then actual human beings come running out from the other side.
Oh, hey, that's
Yeah.
not even how I was thinking.
Oh,
I was thinking like double exposure.
who fucking knows? Because
Yeah,
there's
who
so
knows?
much
Who
literature on this. I have a
But
couple books
That's
that
what
I'm
was
like,
so cool is like back then you had to fucking really be that type of creative. Now we have computers and that's a different kind of creativity, but I mean, I feel like
it's different.
it is different. It
You
feels
know?
different because like we haven't really crossed over the level of believability that Great Divide, the uncanny valley or whatever that they talk about, to where your eyes fully believe it.
Right.
But some of those practical effects, like,
Well,
were practically believable.
right. Well, that's one of the things where it's like with practical effects, yes, sometimes they look really bad, or sometimes you can tell they're fake. But in that moment, if you saw something like that, you would probably think like, what the fuck is that? That's fake. Obviously, that's fake. That's not real. Whereas with all the CGI and stuff, it's almost getting to the point where it's getting too good to where
they're
it's
starting.
not
They're starting
believable.
to get to the point to where it's better than old school practical effects in a certain way.
Right.
Because there's the whole Polar Express era where like, they're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Oh, God.
terrifying unintentionally.
Yeah.
The cold dead eyes of this children's film, so bad. Like we didn't need to do all that until we could do it right.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need to give up one for the other is
No, you could
kind of my
definitely do
point.
too.
And I
That's true.
really wish that they would bring some more practical effects, because some of them are just so damn good. Like, why would
Yeah.
you stop doing that?
Well, like we talked about on when we did-
Prey
yeah,
was a
well,
perfect example of that.
yeah, and when we did Starship Troopers,
Yeah.
like even back then, adding the practical effects in with the CGI.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be cheesy as like rewatching it.
No,
It's so
that
good.
was awesome.
I was
Yeah.
shocked how good it
The
was.
Prey, they could have actually used some real animals.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, like I was saying, the Mills, like it gets to a point where it looks too good to where you don't believe, like it's not believable. You're like, oh, well, that looks too real, that it looks fake. Like it's such a fine line.
It
And,
is.
I get it, but I mean, practical effects are just always gonna win out for me anyway.
Yeah, like sometimes they get it too shiny. You know what I mean? Like Ultra HD.
Yeah.
Bro, my vision is not 2020. I don't need
Right.
in
Right.
real life, I don't be seeing shit like you're showing me.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
I don't want to see pores.
right.
If I can see pores, there's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into that shit either. And it's again just back to music. Like when something's overproduced,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything's too perfect, it loses the soul, and you're like,
That's it. The soul of it though. Like
Yeah.
I think it's harder it's not impossible. I think it's harder to maintain that that human feeling, like a human hands created this if you rely too much on CGI. Even now, and they're doing amazing things now, but there is still that little disconnect you get, you know?
We're like, this is a cartoon basically.
Yeah.
This was made on a computer.
It's a fucking amazing cartoon that I believe.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel, the same.
Right. Again, on one reason why I really want to do like this series type of thing was because so many people in the horror community, like that aren't our age, like don't watch these movies.
Yeah.
Like they know about them. They just don't watch them because, I mean, I get it. They're younger. So they're like, oh, old people movies. Like that's cool. But I want, all the lights and the fucking explosions and shit. But I'm like, man, you're missing out.
Like, it's weird with the newer generations. Like a lot of my favorite movies are way before my time.
Right.
But I noticed with a lot of the kids I work with now, other than the ones who are in film, which I do have some high schoolers who make movies, like they haven't watched any older stuff, which was weird because to me, and maybe it was just my parents were awesome. My dad loved a lot of those old like sci-fi and horror type movies, so I watched them. But it's so weird to me how like at least the new generation I'm involved with, it's like it starts from their timeline on, and like anything else is like, oh yeah, my dad's stuff, my grandpa's stuff, or like whatever. Like, I mean, there was some of that, like music my dad liked that I didn't. I'd be like, oh, ugh.
Right.
But like to this day, a lot of the music I like was stuff I listened to with him on road trips and everything. And I don't see that as much, and it's a little scary.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And I would notice it a lot of times with like bands or people that were into bands, like especially being out here in the fucking Bay Area. Because, Rancid is like the end all be all of fucking punk rock. I'm like, dude, if it wasn't for Chuck Berry, Rancid wouldn't be here.
Which
like
is wild.
For the longest time when I first moved out here, people would like bag on the Ramones. Like,
well, yeah, East Coast versus West Coast.
I mean, that is a big rivalry still.
Like,
but admittedly, I'm not like a super big Ramones fan. I think they're good. I know almost all their songs, but I'm not like.
I mean, it wasn't
musicians ever, but they have their place.
Right. It wasn't even.
They did, and it was important.
They just didn't acknowledge them. They're like, the Ramones. They're not the Clash or Rancid.
That's how people are, and you're from fucking like Pittsburgh. You know how people get.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan. I grew up with the Stooges. I'm like, the fucking Ramones? What the fuck is that?
Like, even, living out in New York, it's funny. I'll say something. They're like, whatever, Texas or whatever, Florida. And I'm like, okay, I lived 17 years of my life in Northern California. I only lived 10 years in Texas, and I was just born in Florida. But okay. But it's just that thing. People like want to, and I never saw it as much as when I moved to Texas, because that is like,
oh, you ain't shit.
A thing. But what's funny is I actually find them the least obnoxious. Now that I'm out of Texas again and seeing it, like Californians are like, oh yeah, I'd never leave. Like, why would I? No, I would never leave. And I'm like, really? There's lots of cool places like everywhere.
That's not as expensive.
That aren't as expensive, or like shaking all the time, or like possibly falling into the ocean and filled with like fucking people that suck. Yeah. But whatever.
See, but I've learned from the women that I love that I like a little danger in my life. Maybe they're like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sure. It's just funny.
But yeah, what you were
saying. Texas was when I moved there, and then when I moved away, I'm like, oh no, everybody else is too. It's just a thing.
But what you were saying about, it seems like a lot of people, I mean, you'll get your handful here and there that are like, oh my God, I love all this old shit. But a lot of them are just, if it's not like 10 years before I was born, then I just stop trying to dig into anything else. I'm like, well, maybe it's just because the internet has oversaturated everything. So they're kind of like, whatever's easier.
They have so much new stuff. Why dig deep?
Yeah.
Because something's coming out every day.
Well, and that's the thing is they have so much new stuff at their fingertips.
Right.
I mean, I remember like a lot of my punk rock stuff that I got into is because I was a big skate punk, and I'd get a Thrasher magazine. I'd see ads. I'm like, ooh, the
Yeah.
dwarves. I'm like, oh man, I need to find one. And I grew up in a little shit small town. I couldn't find these things, so like I was actively like, anytime I would leave, I'd be trying to find a mecca of where I could get this, or I'd fucking mail order with my little peanuts, and who knows what I'm gonna get because I've never heard this band. There's nowhere I can go look them up. It could
Definitely.
either be fucking shit or a fucking pot of gold. I don't
I
know,
mean,
but
mine
that's
were
the best chance I have.
compilations.
Right, that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I remember I bought a few punk compilations. I had been like kind of into metal and industrial and like, went to the shops back when in the day where everywhere you could go, like there were shops that sold punk clothing, Doc Martens, shit like that.
Right.
And they were selling compilations and I was like, "Oh, I'll pick up a couple." And I was also going to local shows and I was like, "I really like this."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then from there, it just went on. Um But yeah, the kids now, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, again, I do understand it. But I mean, I remember the first time the mall had those stores you could go in and they'd make you a mixtape.
Oh yeah.
You remember those? They'd
Uh-huh.
have the
What?
binders. And my dad made like four. And it's funny because some of the songs that are on my playlist in my car all the time are like from those four. And like not that long ago, he text messaged the kids and was like, this is like a super long shot, but do any of you guys remember those mixes I made? And both me and my middle brother Laramie, the one right younger than me, were like, yeah, we have playlists of them. Do you want them? And he's like, you guys listen to this? And we're like, fuck yeah. Like every road trip, like this is our shit. Like, what do you
Very
want?
cool.
And he
That's
was
very
like
cool.
totally blown away. He's like, I think you guys got like every song. And I'm like, yeah, other than Mr. Bojangles, because no one ever fucking needs to listen to that song again.
Oh man. Yeah,
Ugh.
I don't know. Like I think a lot of people should start checking out a lot of this old stuff because it's getting harder and harder to find.
The
Like
thing
with
is, like,
Even though everything's more accessible, which is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
but also, like, if you really do love like horror, it enriches your appreciation of
Hmm.
when a new horror director does something, because it's not even like stealing from, it's like inspired by or
Yeah.
whatever. You're like, oh, they took this shot from that, or obviously this is like an homage to whatever, or like just having those, I guess because I'm a fucking nerd, having those nuggets in the
Same.
back of my mind like
Hmm.
Yeah.
make me appreciate like the new good shit even more. I'm like, oh, he's seen this and this is why, and then
Oh,
but
totally.
he's doing it different in this way, and
Well,
like
that's the difference between
just levels to it.
like a Guillermo del Toro who loves all this shit,
I fucking love him.
Yeah.
and puts it in and does it right, and whatever fucking director that just does the new Scream or does the new fucking
Yeah.
Halloween. That's like, all right, we're
Here's a
gonna
Mills hot
fucking
take. I believe that Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is the best movie ever made. That's how I
Oh.
feel.
So I watched it last week and I like it a lot.
All right. I have not watched it yet.
That's it.
Yeah, that's why it's a hot take. I don't think everybody's gonna agree with me.
No. It's
fully
really, really
believe.
good, but it's
Yeah.
not. I mean, I wouldn't say it was just because, yeah, not
Oh
gonna go
man,
that
when
far.
you have the scene where the
It was so
fucking blue
good.
fairy
Oh
fucking
no,
after
it was
Pinocchio
so
washed
good.
up dead, and she's like, I just tried to give you joy, and then Geppetto's like, you didn't
Well,
give
you
me
know what,
joy,
Mills?
such
Mills, I'm gonna stop you right
terrible,
there because
terrible joy.
honestly, that is kind of a horror movie. So if we want to do
Oh
this on the
fuck yeah!
podcast, let's not talk about it right now.
Oh my
Yeah.
Because to me, that was,
I could go it,
Pinocchio is
well.
a horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
And his
definitely.
version definitely. And
Oh, for
that
sure,
is
and that's
it is
that's
worth
part of what made
talking
it so
about.
great.
No,
Yeah.
I
Anyways.
yep, moving
All right.
along.
Let's rate King Kong, 1933, Marion C. Cooper. I'll go first.
You go
It's a
first.
5. It's a 5. If I could give it more
Wow.
than a 5, seriously,
This is the
it
first
might
five
be
ever.
Night of the Living Dead is my favorite film, but this might be like a real close second because I love a good monster movie.
Oh, I've never seen Night of the Living Dead.
Well,
Really?
you have to. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so good.
I've seen the sequel in the theater when I was like super young, and my aunt got in so much trouble for taking me.
Well, you should check it out. It's another one that's like, you know,
Hmm.
it's good paced, like it's well directed, and it's actually got a good script and the actors. I mean, it's
Sure, I'll
yeah, it's
check it
kind of
out.
did. Yeah. But yeah, man, fucking King Kong is just it's amazing. And to see it, if you guys ever get a
Is
chance
this
to
your
actually
first five?
no, Night of the Living Dead was my first five.
Oh, you did that already.
Yeah,
An
yeah, yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did that
This is your
long
second
time.
five. Because we're
No,
about to hit 100 episodes, by the way. So
yeah,
just
I
wondering.
know. No, I've given a couple fives.
Okay.
Yeah, a handful of fives, but
Handful.
yeah,
Mhm.
this is a close second just because it's so fucking amazing to watch and to see it in the theater is crazy too. Just to see it
See,
that
I've never
big.
done that though. That
Ugh.
sucks.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Now I
Well,
want to.
here's another thing. Horror news. I may have to insert some horror news because as I'm looking, nothing's coming up on it. But
Well,
it turns 90 when this is coming out.
oh,
So I
Right.
know they did a new 90th anniversary Blu-ray, but it's only in the UK.
Mm.
So I would assume they somewhere should be doing something. I think something in Michigan was actually showing it, but for its 90th.
Could be.
But,
They're stuck in the 30s up there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe by the time this comes out, there'll be something in. So, and it's hilarious if you're with a fucking theater full of people, just because this thing is such a parody and so goofy and like they're like, yeah, see, get back in there, lady. Rah. You're like, that's
oh
fucking
no, I'm just a dumb woman. I'll go
Yeah.
back into my room. I'm sorry.
right. So yeah, five for me. Everyone who hasn't seen it should definitely see it. What do you got, Mills?
I gotta give it a 4.
Excellent score.
It has high rewatchability. I really,
He's so
really,
mad
really
right now.
love
He's
the
mad.
old practical effects. Like I am a sucker for claymation.
Mhm.
I mean, and I feel like I have a hard time rating this because for me personally, like I'm into a lot of the things more, but I don't know if like it's one of the because like for if I were to give it like dude that's a 5, like I feel like it would survive the test of time. I don't know if it's in keeping with the times, and I'm not even talking about like all that all the bullshit that people talk
Right.
whatever, because in my opinion it still holds up. But I mean, it was the first big monster movie, and I think everybody should see it once, but I don't know if everybody needs to see it twice, and that's why it only gets a 5.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
Ooh.
definitely going to be.
The people that love this movie, and once again, I would like to point out that I think this is the first time I've actually seen the 1933 one.
Mhm.
I think the one that I'd seen when I was younger was the actual remake, the 60s,
Right.
70s.
76
And-
one, yeah. With
that was fucking
Faye
shocking.
Dunaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I prefer this one by far.
Oh, yeah.
By far. This is my favorite Kong for sure. Kong is dope, and it's one of those movies that I personally will watch again multiple times.
Oh yeah.
And everybody should see it at least once. I don't know if everybody is of the liking of the super old stuff to see it more than once. Like I love Metropolis. I don't know if you've ever seen that old ass.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude,
of
I saw
course.
that in the
I
theater.
watched that shit maybe once every few years, and not everybody is gonna want to do that either. But also,
Dude,
I would say you should see that.
Dude,
at least once.
we could fucking jam out on that one if you want to do an episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll
Like
do it.
I
Right.
love those old movies.
I love
but
the silent movies too. But yeah, dude,
I
I
feel
totally
like
get, I get
like
what you're
we're getting
saying.
to a point that like it's so far back. Does it have that rewatchability where it's gonna be part? It should be part of your regular viewing. I
Right.
think it might be a little old for the average viewer nowadays, unless you're like into the old stuff. But it's worth everybody seeing for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I
Worth
mean,
everybody seeing. I watched it twice actually since I found out we were gonna do this. I watched it once for myself, and then my 3-year-old daughter is like into horror, like
Right.
big time. I'm like, oh, and dinosaurs and big stuff. Like, oh yeah, so we watched it again.
Yeah.
Me and her. Like, oh, it's right
Well,
up her alley.
well, dude, there's always going to be movies. Like, there's some movies where I think they might be like a perfect film. Like, there's nothing wrong with
No.
them, but they're not necessarily my favorite. So I'm not going to give them
Right.
like a 5 or whatever, you know? But I'm like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great
He's
movie.
just trying to rationalize your vote in his head right
No,
now.
I feel you. Well, I mean, I have a hard
completely
time.
agree
I
with
have a hard time rating this movie myself because, like, I understand like how big of a deal it is in
He's
not
trying to
just
be
horror, but
mature
film.
because when it happens to me, I'm like, oh, not wearing a fucking cape. Fuck you. I'm gonna come murder you.
No.
Like, have fun sleeping tonight, bitch. You know?
a 4 is close to 5, so I completely approve of that score.
Yeah,
it's close-ish.
fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome.
Hey, come on, we got 5 hairy zombie gorilla candy corns. We got 4 hairy zombie gorilla candy corns, and now saving the best for last, as always, because she's the best. Oubliette, how many candy corns you giving this?
Well, hey, fellas, I just want to thank you.
Hey, Dame, how many candy corns you giving us?
I'm just over here with my woman brain. I cannot believe that you'd like to hear what I think of King Kong. Sorry, I wanted to go to the South for that one.
Let's go on with the win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good sir. Don't tell me where my accent comes from. So back to me. I would love to give this a 4.5. Harry gorilla candy. He just did the breathy, yeah. He's happy with this outcome. No, it's great. I mean, there would be very few things I would say to change. In fact, possibly none. My only critique is the runtime is a little bit long.
It is
I
long.
think like the dinosaur fighting part, which I'll bet was like during that time probably really cool to see. Well, no, and
like,
back
we can do this, you know, and like now you're like, okay.
Of course, and back then they're like, oh, this action's awesome, but now you're like, okay, I actually care more about the story and the gorilla.
Right.
Like, I don't give a fuck about a stegosaurus that would never actually attack you. So we also have a lot more information now.
What's funny is like watching it, there was never like one of my hiccups because it's so like herky jerky claymation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I loved all the Sinbads. I love Clash of the Titans, but like
nothing in my brain that has to do with logic is active when I'm watching it.
Yeah. No. I totally understand that. But for this one, for me, the story of King Kong and everything is like it doesn't need the fluff. Like
right. Yeah.
Like a tale as old as time.
Ooh, that's a nice.
That was great. No,
true as it can be.
I'm not gonna say I agree because
then somebody
the runtime doesn't bother me, but I understand where you're coming from. You know what I mean? Because if someone's not like super duper into it, they may be like, "Oh man, it's a little fucking long."
You know what? I'm going to recant my 4 and I'm gonna give it a 5. And then we could say that 'twas truly beauty killed the beast on this review.
Right? Because Oubliette gave it the lowest score.
Yeah, what the fuck? And also, y'all are very pretty men. So
Aw, thank you, Oobs.
I don't really know if that's an accurate turn of events.
Can I just say we are all some hot pieces of ass.
Yeah.
We're both Beauty and the Beast.
Right now I smell like chili and I'm covered in chili stains because I worked the chili cook-off today. I am a hot piece.
We definitely all have faces for radio.
I got the chili pheromones going.
Well, I mean, on that note, then, let's say, yeah, guys, we all love fucking King Kong, so go check it out if you
come
haven't.
on, check out King Kong. It's the swellest of the swell. It's the biggest thing. It's going to be on the pictures. Yeah, you're going on the picture, the silver screen.
And we'd like to thank you guys for joining us again. Thank Mills for coming on and doing this with us.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next time for the next episode of Monster Candy Podcast, you little gorillas.
Like scary movies.
Want some candy?
Kitty fries.
Looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.